All right, Calculus, welcome to the first video of the 2021-2022 school year here. And today in the house, we are getting ready for your quiz number 1 for chapter 1 on Tuesday. This is a big one. We're going to actually finish this quiz review. But we got some in-house sponsors today. Don't judge the dirty table. There's a toddler that lives here. What we got? Hey, look at that. They're playing 1 Million Trees. That's convenient for me. All right. Spice Pumpkin Pie Cliff Bar. Mighty tasty. Hint, hint, wink, wink if you want to get your calculus teacher a Christmas gift. Look at that, a local coffee, a local coffee shop company. The fine state of Colorado. Yep, the whole state. And Laura Bar. Okay. Thank our 2021-2022 sponsors. Folks, on this quiz review that we started on Friday, this is the one you have in your possession. Going into Monday, you're going to get a new one in class on Monday. So the difference quotient, first off, we figure out what f of 3 is, plug 3 in for x there, and you get 29. Then we need to figure out what f of 3 plus h is. So we plug 3 plus h in for x there, 3 plus h in for x there. Make sure to FOIL correctly, distributes. We're left with that. So the difference quotient is going to be this minus this over h. The 29's cancel. That's always good. 3h plus 20. All right, so I would definitely expect to see 2 of these on your quiz Tuesday. All right, we did not finish. Number 2 here, we didn't do the 2f of a. I'm sorry, the f of 2a. So plug 2a in for x there and there. Make sure to square it. Okay. Then we need to plug a plus 4 in for x there and there. A plus 4 in for x. Square it. Distribute. There we go. All right, pause that whenever you need to. Next page on 6. We did not do f plus g, but that's very easy. Just add them up. The functions f of x and g of x. Folks, please use parentheses. You're subtracting all of g of x. Okay, on your homework, some of us miss that part because we didn't subtract 6x. Or we didn't subtract a negative 6x. So your answer would have been minus 11x instead of plus x. Then f times g, f of x times g of x. 3 terms by 2 terms is going to give you 6 terms to begin with, then combine like terms. And hopefully I did not make a mistake, but if I did, don't write it down. Make sure to correct it. Okay, then we have most of the final page. I don't think we really talked about. Or I got you started at least. So f of g of x means take g of x, which is 8x minus 6, and plug it in for x there and there. So I'm going to take what I'm plugging in for x, I'm going to square it, multiply it by 2. I'm going to do minus 5 times what I'm plugging in for x, plus 7. Okay, take your time on the foiling. One is not impossible algebra for sure, but not the quickest algebra. And then you have g of f of x. That's easy because you're just plugging f of x in right there. So 8 times what you're plugging in for x, minus 6. There you go. Wow, this one's a bruiser. F of x. So I'm plugging in. First off, that's what that means. F of x squared minus 4x plus 5. I'm plugging x squared minus 4x plus 5 in for x there and there. So I'm squaring that trinomial. Minus 4 times it plus 5. Okay, so the second part's there. Distribute a negative 4. Uh-oh. See where I went wrong? should be a plus 5. So this should be a minus 15. So this should be a plus 10. All right, I hopefully corrected an error. Anyway, I got 3 terms by 3 terms. That's going to be 9 terms. X squared times x squared, x squared times negative 4x, x squared times 5, negative 4x times x squared. You got it. That should be, I can't even get it all on a single, like in the screen. So take a look there. That ends the 9 terms. Again, I should have just corrected the minus 20 plus 5. That should be your final answer. Okay, we'll have another one to practice on the documents you guys have received by now. Finds f of g of h of x. So first off, we need to figure out what g of h of x is. So g of 4x minus 3. I'm going to plug 4x minus 3 in for x there and there. So I'm going to square it, and I'm going to subtract 2 times what I'm plugging in for x, plus 5. Okay, there we go. Hopefully no boo-boos. It looks good. So that is g of h of x, and that is what I'm plugging in for x in f. That is the f of what I just found. Okay, so 5 times what I'm plugging in for x, plus 3. And that is the end of your first quiz review. Now, in class, I made for you today on Monday the 20th. Today I am not with you. Additional questions to know. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So, if you haven't practiced these, do practice these. See what you can do on your own. And then look at the answer. So, evaluate the difference quotient if you are given f of x is equal to 5x minus 3x squared. Difference quotient I'm talking about there is f of 4 plus h minus f of 4 over h. Plug in 4 plus h in for x there and there. Okay, and I've done that. Again, please be careful on the fooling, folks. That shouldn't be that bad. There it is, and then plug f of 4 in. That's a negative 28, so be careful. You're subtracting a negative 28. When you subtract the negative 28, the constants will cancel, and that is your answer for the difference quotient. All right, on B, that is a 3x squared plus 5x minus 8. F of 1 is 0. Whoa. Plug 1 plus h in for x. There and there. All right. As we see, you're left with 3h squared plus 11. It makes sense that the constants cancel because f of 1 is 0. And then divide everything by h. And that should be it. Again, there's a way to find this derivative very, very quickly and then just plug 1 in for x, and that looks to be good because the derivative when x is 1 is in fact 11. We are getting close to finding our first derivatives. All right, so if f of x is equal to 13 plus 2x minus 3x squared, find first f of negative 2. Plug negative 2 in for x. It's going to be negative 3. Find f of 3. Plug 3 in for x. It's going to be negative 8. Find 2f of a. So first off, plug a in for x. And then double everything. I just switched the order there. F of 3a. Plug 3a in for x. Again, I switch the order. F of a plus 2. Plug a plus 2 in for x. Okay. You see my arrow, I'm running out of room. And I also put the a squared term first again. All right, number 3, find the domain of each function. So Let's talk about this. Overall, we did a pretty solid job on this in our homework. First off, you can take the square root of 0. So we take what's inside the square root and set it equal to 0. I get 3, and I get -4. And it's all about what numbers, so you can look in between -4 and 3. Do you think you can find numbers that make it defined? Or do you have, can you plug numbers in for x that make that function defined? Or is it outside? Is it less than -4? Is it greater than 3? So I think first off, writing them some test intervals here, I think can be helpful. So the graph is doing something from x is close to -infinity to -4. At -4, we hit an x-intercept. All right. Then we need a test in the interval from -4 to 3. Have another x-intercept at 3. All right, and then from 3 to infinity. So interval -infinity to -4. What number could fit in there? -5. I plug -5 in for x, I get the square root of 8. That's good. Plug -5 in for x, I get the square root of -1. That's not good. So the function is undefined in that interval. On the interval -4 to 3, I plug in 0. I get the square root of 3. That's good. I plug in 0. I get the square root of 4. Both of those are defined, so the function is defined on the interval -4 to 3. Now, don't worry about brackets when you're just finding the test intervals. Then on the interval from 3 to infinity, I'm going to use 4. Square root of -1, that's already bad. It's undefined. So my domain is -4 to 3, including both, because I can have the square root of 0. Ooh, this one can factor, so you should, factor it. Nothing cancels. You don't have a jump you don't have that removable discontinuity. So x can be anything, but it can't be at -5 or -4. So that's what that means. The domain x, such that x cannot equal -4, -5. Probably should have gone in order there, -5 and -4. All right, so we have the semicircle here. Take what's inside the square root, set it equal to 0. 9 minus x squared is equal to 0. Because remember, you are allowed to take the square root of 0, but nothing less. So I get plus or minus 3. So on this, because we are making a graph, maybe we don't have to do the intervals of testing. Here's what I know. When I plug -3 in for x, I get a y value of 0. When I plug 3 in for x, I get a y value of 0. When I plug 0 in for x, I get the square root of 9, which is 3. Let's graph that. -3, 0, 0, 3, 3, 0. There's a semicircle. The domain is -3 to 3. The range is 0 to 3. So I'm hoping that becomes a pretty easy function. Now, all right, determine whether f is even, odd, or neither. So first off, the textbook definition here, if I plug -x in for x, this is going to become a -3x squared. This is going to become a positive x, and that's going to stay +6. They're not opposites because this isn't a -6, and they're not the same, so that's why it's neither. But if you plug -2 in for x, plug -2 in for x, and then plug a +2 in for x. Again, now you had to be right on these numbers, okay? Or else you're going to lose a little bit. So you don't get the same answer, you don't get the opposite answer, so f of x is neither even nor is it odd. Let's take a look at b. When I plug -x in for x, I get 5x to the 4th minus 3x squared minus 7. It's the same. So if f of -x is equal to f of x, that's an even function. If I plug -2 in for x, I get 61. If I plug +2 in for x, I get 61. So f of x is an even function. Remember, 0 doesn't tell you anything because 0, yes, it's the same as 0, but it's also the opposite of 0. So don't trust 0. All right? You can look at these and you could say, look, a can obviously not be an even function. All right, let's say you got 0, because that happened on your homework set. Those are odd powers, so it definitely cannot be even. Okay. So, what is f plus g? There you go. What is f minus g? There we go. What is f times g? 3 terms by 2 terms is 6 terms, which I almost got all the way on there. Was f divided by g? Now you have to give the domain. That's like half of it, okay? Because you can literally just write f over g. There's nothing to be done there. So you can't divide by 0. Set the denominator equal to 0. So it has a domain x such that x doesn't equal negative 4 over 7. All right. Speaking of 7, here it is. F of g of x. And g of f of x. There's f of x. There's g of x. So f of g of x, and this example is a little bit quicker. 11 minus 5 times what you're plugging in for x. There we go. And then g of f of x. G of 11 minus 5x plug 11 minus 5x in for x there and there. And do a lot of simplifying. There's your answer. All right. That looks good. Here it is. F of x. So f of 2x squared minus 3x plus 7. I'm going to plug that in for x. I'm going to square it. I'm going to double it. Minus 3 times. I'm plugging that in for x plus 7. So here's what that right side looks like. All right. So 3 terms by 3 terms is going to be 9 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then they're all getting doubled. Okay, so do this. I would do this first, and then I would check it. So what I did is I just simplified them first. Right? And then doubled them. Now, did I start? I think I gave you the answer. So I doubled, but then I also simplified with that other side here. So like with the x, 2 times a negative 42x is a negative 84x, and then I added 9x to it. So that should be the final answer. Okay, great. Now, 9 didn't exactly make the best one here for you too. F of g of x. There's f of x, there's g of x, there's h of x. So I need to figure out what g of h of x is. So g of that. So 2 times what I'm plugging in for x squared minus 7 times what I'm plugging in for x minus 10. All right. 2 times what I'm plugging in for x minus 3 5x plus 21x squared minus 10. There we go. There, and so that is right there. That is g of h of x. Then f of that. 7 minus what I'm plugging in for x, and I don't have enough room, so result follows. All right. So there it is. 92 questions on your quiz for Tuesday. Be ready. A lot of algebra. We can do it. This is Yak Math Videos signing out.